At 8 minutes past 9 on the morning of Friday, 31st July 1998, a 49-year-old English solicitor named Angela Woodruff sits at her wooden desk inside the small Warwickshire offices of Hamilton Ward & Company. In front of her on the desk lies a single A4 sheet of typed paper. The sheet is the last will and testament of her own mother. Her mother is Mrs Kathleen Grundy, 81 years old, of Hyde, Greater Manchester. Mrs. Kathleen Grundy died unexpectedly at her small Hyde semi-detached front parlor on Thursday, 24th June 1998. The will in front of Angela Woodruff leaves the entire Grundy family estate of £386,000 to Mrs. Grundy's family GP, Dr. Harold Shipman. The will leaves nothing to Angela. The will leaves nothing to Angela's younger sister. The will leaves nothing to Mrs. Kathleen Grundy's 4 grandchildren. The will is typed on a manual typewriter. Mrs. Kathleen Grundy has not personally used a typewriter at any point in the previous 35 years. The will is signed by 2 witnesses. Both witnesses are themselves elderly registered patients of Dr. Harold Shipman. Both witnesses give Angela conflicting accounts of where and when the document was signed. Angela Woodruff holds the will up to the desk lamp. She compares it line by line to a recent handwritten birthday card from her mother. The wording of the will sounds nothing like her mother's voice. Angela Woodruff telephones Greater Manchester Police that same Friday afternoon. A formal Greater Manchester Police criminal investigation under the code name Operation 9 is opened on Monday, 3rd August 1998. The investigation immediately identifies a further 9 recent unexplained Shipman patient deaths over the previous 12 months. Greater Manchester Police request an exhumation order for one of the 9. The exhumation takes place at a small Hyde Borough cemetery on Saturday, the 1st August 1998. Tameside General Hospital pathologists test the tissue samples for traces of diamorphine. The morphine levels return 3 days later as comfortably lethal. Greater Manchester Police arrest Dr. Harold Shipman at his own surgery at 21 Market Street, Hyde, on the morning of Tuesday, 7 September 1998. He is charged that afternoon with the murder of Mrs. Kathleen Grundy. By Christmas 1998, Greater Manchester Police are formally investigating a further 23 unexplained Shipman patient deaths. By the end of 1999, the figure has reached 192. By the time Dame Janet Smithson finally publishes her 6th and final public inquiry report in 2005, the confirmed total will stand at 218 patients murdered by their own family GP. Harold Frederick Shipman is born in the small English Midland city of Nottingham on Friday, 14th June 1946. His father is an underpaid Nottingham lorry driver. His mother is Vera Shipman, a quiet Nottingham housewife. Harold is the oldest of 3 Shipman children. In the spring of 1963, Vera Shipman is diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. She is treated for the cancer pain at home with regulation NHS-prescribed hospital-grade diamorphine injections. The 17-year-old Harold Shipman sits at his mother's bedside for the final 8 weeks of her life. He watches the visiting Nottingham district nurse administer her morphine injections every afternoon. He watches the morphine quiet her almost instantly. Vera Shipman dies at home on Friday, 21st June 1963. Harold Shipman enrolls at Leeds University School of Medicine in the autumn of 1965. He qualifies as a registered general medical practitioner in 1970. He takes his first GP post at the Donnybrook Medical Center in the small West Yorkshire town of Todmorden in 1974. In 1970, Harold Shipman is caught by a Todmorden GP partner forging morphine prescriptions for his own personal use. He is medically diagnosed as severely addicted to a synthetic opioid named pethidine. He is briefly suspended by the General Medical Council. He receives a small fine of £600. He is allowed to continue practicing medicine without further restriction. The General Medical Council files the 1975 disciplinary record permanently in its central registry. In 1907, Harold Shipman moves to a small Greater Manchester market town named Hyde. He joins a small Hyde GP group practice at the Donnybrook Medical Center on Market Street. He leaves the Donnybrook Medical Center in 1992 and opens his own private solo GP surgery directly opposite at 21 Market Street, Hyde. His NHS-registered patient list grows quickly to nearly 3,000 by 1995. The vast majority of his patients are elderly Hyde widows living alone in small Hyde semi-detached houses. Shipman makes his routine home visits to his elderly patients in a small, dark gray Vauxhall Cavalier 1.6 four-door saloon car. He carries a single small brown leather doctor's bag. Inside the bag, he carries a small, clear glass NHS issue stoppered bottle of diamorphine. He carries a single small, disposable plastic hypodermic syringe. He makes between 6 and 12 elderly patient home visits every day. Between 1985 and 1998, the recorded death rate at the Shipman surgery is between 3 and 5 times the local Hyde district average. No medical regulator anywhere in Greater Manchester or in England questions the pattern. The Shipman patient deaths follow an almost identical clinical pattern from beat to beat. Shipman arrives at the elderly patient's small Hyde semi-detached front parlor in the late morning. He delivers the patient's regular weekly NHS prescription. He administers what the elderly patient understands to be a small, routine vitamin booster injection. The patient becomes drowsy within 90 seconds. The patient is dead within 4 minutes. Shipman signs the patient's death certificate himself on the spot. He firmly recommends cremation rather than burial in every single case. Between 1975 and 1998, Harold Shipman quietly murders at least 218 of his own NHS-registered Hyde patients. 81% of his victims are elderly Hyde women. The youngest confirmed victim is a 41-year-old Hyde housewife named Bianca Pemberton. The oldest is a 93-year-old Hyde widow named Renee Spencer. Almost every Shipman victim lives entirely alone. Almost every Shipman victim is killed in her own front parlor during a routine morning home visit. He kills 9 patients in 1995. He kills 11 patients in 1996. He kills 23 patients in 97. He kills 21 patients in the first 6 months of 1998 alone. By the late spring of 1998, he is killing 1 elderly patient every 8 days. He is the single most prolific known serial killer in the entire history of modern English medicine. He is the single most prolific known serial killer in the entire history of modern Britain. He is among the single most prolific known serial killers in the recorded history of any modern country anywhere. He continues to practice NHS medicine 7 days a week throughout the entire 23-year killing period. He is genuinely well-liked by his Hyde patients. He is genuinely well-liked by their adult sons and daughters. His personal bedside manner is described in the Hyde Reporter local paper as famously gentle and warm. His elderly Hyde patients trust him completely with their lives. He is given a small local Hyde Rotary Club Community Service Commendation in 1995. He gives a free public health talk at Hyde Civic Hall on the cold evening of Tuesday, 18 November 1997. The audience that evening includes the adult sons and daughters of 9 future Shipman victims. He drinks tea afterwards with the Mayor of Hyde. He is photographed shaking hands with 2 elderly local Hyde widows for the front page of the Hyde Reporter the following week. Both elderly widows in that photograph will be dead within 12 months. By the time the Granby will is exposed in late July 1998, the body count stands at 215. By the time of his September 98 arrest, the figure has reached 218. The full 218 figure will not be publicly confirmed for another 7 years. Mrs. Kathleen Grundy was the former mayor of Hyde. She had served on the Hyde Borough Council for 16 years. She was a regular weekly patient at Harold Shipman's Market Street Surgery from 1989 onwards. She was a popular figure in the small Hyde Town Center. She walked the same route to the Hyde shops every weekday morning. She had 2 adult daughters and 4 grandchildren. Her elder daughter, Angela Woodruff, was a senior partner solicitor at Hamilton Ward & Company in Warwickshire. Angela Woodruff had personally drafted her own mother's actual last will and testament in 1986. The 1986 Grundy will left the entire estate of £386,000 in equal trust to Mrs. Grundy's 4 grandchildren. The 1986 will did not mention Dr. Harold Shipman. The 1986 will did not mention any individual cash bequest outside the immediate Grundy family. On the morning of Thursday, 24 June 1998, Mrs. Kathleen Grundy called at Dr. Shipman's surgery for a small routine medical check. Shipman administered a small routine vitamin injection. Mrs. Grundy walked home alone. Mrs. Grundy was found dead in her own small Hyde front parlor shortly before lunchtime. The death certificate, signed by Shipman himself on the spot, gave the cause of death as old age. The funeral was held the following Tuesday. Mrs. Grundy was cremated at Hyde Crematorium that Tuesday afternoon. The week after the cremation, a sealed brown manila envelope arrived by Royal Mail, second-class post at Hamilton Ward & Company in Warwickshire. The envelope contained what purported to be a new last will of Mrs. Kathleen Grundy, typed and signed 3 weeks before her death. The new will left the entire £386,000 Grundy estate to Dr. Harold Shipman. The new will explicitly disinherited Angela Woodruff, her sister, and the 4 Grundy grandchildren. Angela Woodruff sat at her wooden desk on the morning of Friday, 31 July 1998, and read the new will twice. She did not recognize her mother's voice in a single sentence of it. She telephoned Greater Manchester Police that Friday afternoon. The Greater Manchester Police investigation under the code name Operation 9 was formally opened on Monday, August 1998. The lead investigator was Detective Superintendent Bernard Postles of Greater Manchester Police. Detective Chief Inspector Stan Edgerton was assigned as the deputy lead. The 2 detectives could not exhume Mrs. Grundy herself because she had been cremated. They exhumed 9 other recently deceased Shipman patients who had been buried rather than cremated. The first exhumation of Mrs. Bianca Pemberton took place at a small Hyde Borough cemetery on Saturday, 1 August 1998. Her tissue toxicology results returned 3 days later as comfortably lethal morphine. The exhumation list grew to 15 named patients within a fortnight. Every single exhumed Shipman patient body showed lethal morphine concentrations. The arrest took place at the surgery of 21 Market Street, Hyde, on the morning of Tuesday, 7 September 1998. Harold Shipman was taken into Greater Manchester Police custody calmly and without protest. He was formally charged that afternoon with the murder of Mrs. Kathleen Grundy. He was charged in stages over the following 6 months with a further 14 specific named patient murders. The full Shipman trial opened at Preston Crown Court on Monday, 5 October 1999, before the Right Honourable Mr. Justice Forbes. The trial lasted 57 sitting days. Shipman never once gave evidence in his own defense. He sat in the small wooden Preston Crown Court dock and did not speak. He was convicted on Monday, 31 January 2000, of all 15 counts of murder against him. He was sentenced to 15 concurrent whole-life sentences with a whole-life tariff. The presiding judge described him from the bench as the single most depraved serial killer ever to have practiced medicine in any modern country. The Dame Janet Smithson public inquiry into the wider Shepherd practice opened in 2002. The sixth and final Smithson inquiry report, published in 2005, concluded that Harold Shipman had personally killed at least 218 of his own NHS patients between 1975 and 98. The report estimated the true figure might in fact be closer to 260. Harold Shipman hanged himself with a strip of torn prison bed sheet from a metal window bar of his small HM prison Wakefield cell on the morning of Tuesday, 13th January 2004. He died at the age of 57. He never confessed to a single one of the 218 murders. The 218 Shipman victims had trusted their own family GP completely with their lives. Most of them had been registered patients of his for more than 10 years. He had killed them on his routine morning home visits, alone with each of them in their own small Hyde front parlors, with a single small clear injection of a single small dose of medical diamorphine from a single small disposable hypodermic syringe. If you watched the previous episode of this channel, you already know how this story rhymes. In 1986, a 16-year-old English schoolgirl named Haley Ward told her best friend in a Bishop's Cleeve playground that if she ever disappeared, her body would be found under her parents' back garden patio, and the entire English system that should have heard her had already quietly stopped listening. In 1998, the same English medical regulator that had filed Harold Shipman's 1975 morphine forgery disciplinary record at the General Medical Council had allowed him to kill 217 more patients before a single 49-year-old Warwickshire solicitor opened a single sealed brown manila envelope. Next episode, episode 15, we go inside the tidy 1970s American suburban house of a respected Cub Scout leader and Lutheran church compliance officer in Wichita, Kansas, who murdered 10 people over 30 years, sent the Wichita police taunting handwritten letters demanding to be made famous, and was caught at last by a single piece of hidden digital metadata on a single 3.5-inch floppy disk he posted to a local Wichita television station newsroom.